Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for your attendance on this afternoon's webinar. My name is Daniel Keane. I work for BTCSoftware. I'm going to be spending the next 45 minutes or so with you discussing BTCHub, which is our MTD solution. So what we're going to be looking at this afternoon is first off a presentation, and then we'll go into a demonstration of the product, and then we'll have some question and answers at the end. As I mentioned, on the GoToMeeting panel on the right hand side, you will have a little question mark within a speech bubble. Please do use that to ask questions, any questions that you have throughout the webinar, and we will be staying at the end to answer all of the questions. Now, I appreciate there's a number of you on today's webinar, so if I don't get through to all of your questions, then I will make sure that I email your questions so that your questions are answered at some point. Okay, so moving on into the presentation. Now, first we're going to be taking a look at the agenda. So what we're going to be looking at in today's presentation. So first off, for those of you who aren't already BTCSoftware customers, we're going to have a little bit about who BTCSoftware are. Following that, we're going to look at now that Making Tax Digital is live. We know that the pilot is now live, the public pilot, and we're only a month away now, even 15 days or so away from Making Tax Digital being live from April 1st, 2019. And we're also going to look at how is that going to impact your business. So how are the changes around Making Tax Digital going to impact your business? We're also going to look at who is our solution for. So which of you guys is the solution is going to be aimed at, whether it's the business submitting their own VAT return, it might be an accountant in practice. We're also going to look at a solution overview, so that's going to be the demonstration of the product, and then we're going to tab back out into the presentation and look at the future of BTCHub. So it's going to be our development platform of the future, which we're really excited about, so please do stay at the end for that, and then pricing and some questions as well. Okay, so to start, who are BTCSoftware? Well, originally we were founded in 1999 and we specialized in corporation tax. Now, following that, we built our self-assessment module, our practice management module, and then about 4 years ago, we developed our accounts production module, which was kind of the final piece to the puzzle in terms of forming our practice suite, which we're very proud of. We were the provider of choice, or we believe we're the provider of choice for small to medium enterprise practitioners. And we have around 2,000 practices relying on our software. And that equates to around 10,000 users. Now, we're all UK based with one central office in Addlestone, Surrey. So we're all UK based. Our support team is completely UK based. And at the bottom there, we're very proud. We were the winner of 3 2018 Accounting Web Software Excellence Awards. So we won Practice Software Suite of the Year. We won Practice Management and CRM Software of the Year and Tax Software of the Year. And the 2019 Accounting Web Software Excellence Awards, we're hoping to win a few more awards for our software there as well. Okay, so if we take a look now at MTD and the impact on your business. Now, I'm sure at this stage you're all really up to date and familiar with MTD, but we'll go over a few of the key points. Now, as we know, when George Osborne announced Making Tax Digital in 2015, originally what we started with was a quarterly self-assessment tax return. Now, as we know, that's been pushed back until April 2020, and what we're left with is a quarterly VAT return or monthly VAT return that needs to be submitted in the new MTD format. So those businesses over the turnover of £85,000 will have to comply with the recent changes and won't be able to manually key a VAT return in using the gov.uk website. Now, businesses must keep VAT records digitally, which I'll go into when I explain the spreadsheet import and also the bookkeeping import as well. So what HMRC are looking for is those VAT records, that key VAT information to be built up at least on a spreadsheet or on a bookkeeping package of some sort. Now, returns must be sent via MTD compliance software. So that's where we come in as a bridging tool to allow that bridge between spreadsheets or manual records and submitting to be completely MTD compliant. Now, as well as that, it also involves interacting digitally with clients. So what we're looking at in 2020 is one digital account which both you, the accountant in practice, and the business, there we go, a single financial account per VAT registration, so that you can pull in and pull out information as close to the second to last point there, real time as possible. So rather than having to submit paper returns to request for information, we'll be able to seamlessly pull information out of that one digital account. Okay, so we're going to take a look at now who is our solution for. Now, the first option that we've got there is those using non-MTD compliant bookkeeping software, i.e. VT, maybe older versions of Sage are going to be included in that as well. So you can use bridging software to keep the solution that you're familiar with and you're happy using and that you use day to day. And we can bridge the gap, obviously, between you using that solution that's not going to be MTD compliant and submitting MTD compliant VAT returns. So we're not just a spreadsheet solution, and I'll explain that in the demonstration later on. Also, those of you who are using Microsoft Excel spreadsheets, I'm sure there's many of you out there who are using Microsoft Excel spreadsheets or have clients that currently build up their VAT return detail in spreadsheets. Those not wanting to upgrade existing bookkeeping and accounting software packages such as Sage. So there's many different bookkeeping packages that are out there that aren't going to be MTD compliant. They have older versions that aren't going to be MTD compliant. Now, some of those bookkeeping packages might force you to moving up to the latest version, maybe a cloud version that's going to have more functionality than you necessarily need or your client necessarily needs, and it's going to be pricey. So what we're offering in terms of a bridging solution is that gap. So we're bridging that gap where your client continues using the solution that they're familiar with and aren't having to fork out on the new solution that's going to cost them an arm and a leg and obviously has more functionality than they necessarily need. Now, businesses with a turnover, a fairly obvious one, of £85,000. So obviously you guys are going to have to comply with the latest legislation, and those not using bookkeeping software. So maybe you've got clients who are on manual records and you're looking to move those onto a spreadsheet, or who are using a spreadsheet, as we discussed, and need to move the figures from a spreadsheet into a 9-box VAT return using bridging software. Now, I've got a couple of useful references here. I will go through and explain these. If you are interested in this slide, you're more than welcome to screen capture this slide, or you can contact us and we can send you these useful references. So if we start off with what we call, or what we refer to as the Bible, it's the gov.uk VAT Notice 700 Mark 22. If you've got any questions in terms of making tax digital, or there's any specific areas that you want to focus on, maybe there's your client's got a part of a flat rate scheme, special retail scheme, something like that. It's all covered in that VAT Notice 700 Mark 22. So that's constantly updated with the latest legislation and any updates involving making tax digital specifically for that. You've also got the very important one here, which is the gov.uk Get an HMRC Services Account page. Now, if you haven't already signed up for an agent services account, I would definitely recommend you do that. It's not going to affect any filing in terms of the way that you file for your clients. If you sign up for an agent services account, you can still use the old method until you sign up the client to do the MTD VAT filing. So I'd recommend you sign up for an agent services account straight away. And then obviously the next stage would be to move your client's 64-8 information into the agent services account. So if you haven't already done so, I definitely recommend that's the next stage for you in terms of setting up your practice for making tax digital. We've also plugged in our website there, so btcsoftware.co.uk/MTD for VAT. That's where you're going to find all the pricing information, information on the product, information on making tax digital, specifically for VAT, and any sort of updates that become available within the product offering, and also live updates in terms of making tax digital as well. Then that also brings on to the blog, which we constantly update, new initiatives that come in terms of making tax digital, and also new product offerings and features that are available as well. Now, I don't expect you to remember this one, but if you go onto the third link there, that btcsoftware.co.uk/MTD for VAT, you'll find this sixth link that we're looking at here. Now, what this is we've as a company that does weekly webinars, probably done about 100 to 200 webinars now covering Making Tax Digital and BTCHub as a product. Now, during all of those webinars, we always have question and answers at the end. And what we've done is we've collated all of the question and answers that we've had at the end of the webinar and produced a document with those questions and the answers to those questions as well, which you can download and take a look at. So if you do have a question in relation to our product or Making Tax Digital, it's probably covered in that document there. And there's probably about 50, 60 questions in that document that I definitely recommend you taking a look at. And that can be found on that third link there, which is the btcsoftware.co.uk/MTD for that page. And then finally, probably one of our most useful references is going to be the one at the bottom there, which is the YouTube page, youtube.com/BTCSoftware. Now, every time we do a webinar, we do record the webinars and upload them to our YouTube channel. So this one will be recorded as well, as this is our first joint IFA and BTCSoftware BTCHub demonstration webinar. So this will be uploaded onto the YouTube channel as well. And we've got showcasing videos on there, tutorial videos that are 1 to 2 minutes long. So I definitely recommend you taking a look at that to introduce yourself to the different products in what we offer. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at a demonstration of the product. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to tab out of my presentation. I'm going to move into BTCHub. Now I've logged into BTCHub here via a web browser. Now it's going to work on any web browser apart from Internet Explorer. And the reason it doesn't work on Internet Explorer, so for those of you who use online bookkeeping packages will know this, Microsoft Excel have stopped updating and supporting Internet Explorer. So what you'll have to use is you'll use Chrome, Firefox, Internet Edge, or if you're a Mac user, you can use Safari. Now, it being a web browser-based product does mean it's a pure cloud product. It's what we call a SaaS product, in that it's a software as a service cloud product, which gives you the advantage of being able to log in from anywhere, and obviously means you don't have to worry about backing up that data, as it's all stored securely in 2 UK-based Amazon data centers. Now, once you've purchased the product and you've set up your email and password, you'll be able to log in. And as I log in here, I'll give you a walkthrough in terms of what we're looking at. And I'll try that again. There we go. I must apologise, the internet in this room is slightly tricky at times. Now on the right hand side, you're going to have your user. Now with a license of BTCHub as a standard, you're going to have 5 users of the software. You're also going to have a notification bell, which will provide updates when updates are made available. It being a cloud solution, obviously the software is automatically updated, so you don't have to worry about running any updates, but we will provide you information on when updates have become available and the features that have been included. We have our help menu, which is obviously going to offer the email for the support team, the telephone number for the support team, as you get both email and telephone support with BTCHub. It's unlimited. You can call in as many times as you like, and our hours are Monday to Friday between 9 and 5:30, and we've got email coverage outside of those hours as well. Now on the left hand side, you've got the main menu, and the first option that you've got is the home page. Now on the home page here, you're going to have recent VAT returns that you've added into the software, and then also recent clients. So it's a dashboard view of both. Now we also have a split between individual clients, which are going to be your sole traders, and organizational clients, which are going to be your organizations. So limited companies, partnerships, and when October comes around, your trusts and charities will be in here as well. Now, as we know, the agent services account doesn't give you a client list. So when you add clients into the agent services account, there is no client list. So you're going to have to find a way of building up that information and find out which of your clients qualify for Making Tax Digital and who you've added into the agent services account. Now, the easiest and quickest way to do this is build up your client data in our individual clients and organizational clients view, as then you know exactly who's in the agent services account, which of your clients are MTD clients, and obviously which clients you're going to be filing MTD VAT returns for. Now, in terms of the split between individual clients, so sole traders and organizational clients, it's not too apparent at the moment. When we move the Making Tax Digital for Business software in here, that will obviously be a little bit more apparent. Now, as we know, when MTD was originally announced in 2015, we did start with self-assessment. Now, in 2016, we built a quarterly self-assessment tax return module, which we showcased at Accountex at Accountex 2017. So we have already written the functionality for a quarterly self-assessment tax return, which will be included in BTCHub when obviously that comes around. And then the split between the two in terms of self-assessment returns for the individuals and obviously the VAT returns for both, it will become a little bit more apparent at that stage. Now, the way that you add an individual or an organization is really nice and simple. You can choose the plus option on the right-hand side and you can enter your details in there. Now, also on the VAT dashboard, that's where you're going to search for the client and then importantly get to that 9-box VAT return. And then lastly, our VAT report is going to give you a holistic view of all of the clients that you've added into the software, their most recent VAT return in terms of the period start and period end, and the status of that VAT return. And if it's overdue, it will appear so in red, as you can see with some of the examples that I have on my screen. And in order to access historic MTD VAT returns, if you wanted to access old submission receipts or you wanted to access that old data, you can tick the Show Completed item on the right-hand side, and that will show you your complete VAT returns there as well. Now at the bottom, we've got the download. So we've got the Quick Start Guide here for practitioners, so the step-by-step tutorial on how to use the software. We've also got a Quick Start Guide for businesses. So if you're a business with multiple VAT registration numbers, you're also going to be using a license of BTCHub as well. So not only is the software used by practitioners, it's also used by businesses and large enterprises and groups that are using our software to file multiple VAT returns under different VAT registration numbers. Now, importantly, for those of you who use spreadsheets, you're going to be downloading the MTD Excel add-in for Windows. Now, it's going to work on anything from Microsoft Excel 2007 and upwards for Windows. And if you're a Mac user, it's going to be 2016 and upwards. So the software will work with Mac as well as Windows machines. Now, at the bottom here, we've got the Download MTD Excel template, which is where you're going to download the template that we've built for you to fill out those transactions, build up a VAT return detail, and then obviously move that into here. Now, if you have your own template or your client uses a template that they're familiar with, we wouldn't actually recommend you use our Excel template. And the reason being is the nice thing about bridging software is we're not changing the way that you or your client is working. We're keeping you happy and familiar with your existing methods, and we don't want to push you onto anything new if you've already got something in place, like a spreadsheet template that you currently use. Now, for my example, we are actually going to take a look at the Excel template, so I will explain it to those of you who maybe have clients that are using manual records or cash books that are looking to produce them or push them onto a template. So if I open up Excel at the bottom, now the first workbook that I'll have at the bottom for my template is a Quick Start Guide. So it's instructions here on how you or your client can use the template that we've developed. Now, it also lists a VAT return summary, which includes the 14 boxes that we need. So it's the key information. It's the business name, VAT registration number, the period date, and then those 9 VAT totals. Now, if you're using your own spreadsheet, you don't have to have a VAT return summary that looks similar to this, but what you do need is this information somewhere within your spreadsheet. So you need listed somewhere business name, VAT registration number, and then the 9 boxes. Now, you're also going to have your workings out. So you've got boxes 1 and 6 here, which covers sales and other outputs. 2 and 9, which is EC acquisitions. 4 and 7, which is purchases and other inputs. And then 6 and 8, which is European sales. Now, using our template, I'll show you a quick example here. What you would do is you would list your transactions into here, and you can enter your amount into the net amount. And you can see there the software automatically works out the VAT amount. Now, we're also finding what a lot of our clients who are doing at the moment, who currently use spreadsheets, they're actually copying and pasting the transactions from their spreadsheets into this template. And the reason they're doing that is because after April 2020, so after that soft landing period for the first year, what HMRC are looking for is these final sales that you're bringing across, these final 9 VAT figures, to be linked as to where that figure has come from. So when HMRC are to do a review, they're going to say, how did you get to those final 9 VAT figures? And you can show a digital example. You want a digital audit trail from start to finish as to where that figure is derived from. Now, if you're using our template, what you'll see here is where I've added £100 into my EC sales, you'll see it's automatically fed through into my VAT return summary. So if you're using our template, you're going to be fully compliant past April 2020. Now, as I mentioned, you don't have to use our template, but after April 2020, make sure these cells are linked as to where those figures have come from. So make sure they're linked, or it's the total figure that you're bringing across. Now, for the soft landing period, you could essentially type in these final 9 VAT figures and have no underlying link. But after April 2020, that's exactly what HMRC are looking for. They want that digital audit trail from start to finish. Now, once you've built up this final VAT return information, you can download the add-in downloadable from within the software. So you can download the add-in for Windows and then the add-in for Mac. Now, the first option that you've got on the add-in is to define the VAT range. Now, if you're using our template, the VAT range is already predefined. So this add-in up at the top here knows exactly where those cells are within the spreadsheet. If you're using your own template, you're going to have to tell this add-in where those cells are within your spreadsheet. Now, your spreadsheet, if you're using a spreadsheet already, doesn't have to be in any specific format. But what we do need is this information to appear somewhere within. It could be one spreadsheet, it could be multiple spreadsheets, it could be multiple worksheets. You just have to have that information somewhere. Now, what you would do is you would hold the control option on your keyboard and you would select, let's say the business name appears over here. You might have the VAT registration number appears over here. The date could be over here. As I said, it doesn't have to be in a specific format. But what's important is you need the information that's listed within our VAT return summary, and it needs to be picked up in the order of business name to the 9th VAT total, as my VAT return summary is listing here. And that's clearly explained within the Quick Start Guide, which we would definitely recommend you download and take a look at when you're first filing your MTD VAT return. Now, once you've told the add-in where those cells appear within your spreadsheet, as I've done, you can show the VAT range, which is going to highlight the VAT return details. So it's going to highlight those cells that are being picked up. Then finally, when you're ready, you can move this data into BTCHub. Now, we've built an API that sits within this add-in that's going to talk directly to BTCHub. Now, this isn't any sort of copy and paste method. This is a full API. It's a digital link. So it's going to be fully compliant past April 2020. So to show you that now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to log out. I'm going to close the solution down altogether. Now, I've told the add-in where the cells appear within my spreadsheet, so I've already predefined the VAT range. So now all I have to do is press Export MTD VAT Data. It's going to open up BTCHub in my default web browser, which for me is Chrome. I can log in, and it's going to populate my VAT return. Now, up until this stage, when we've added the client, we have signed into our agent services account. I must stress there are 3 steps for you to take. The first is to sign up for the agent services account. The second is to include your clients into the agent services account. And the third step, which is catching a lot of people out at the moment, which is really important, is the client needs to be signed up to MTD filing. Now, if you do sign up your clients to the MTD filing, please do note you won't be able to use the old method. So when you sign up the client to Making Tax Digital for VAT filing, you'll need to use that Making Tax Digital VAT filing method. You won't be able to go back to the gov.uk website and key those figures in. Even after April 1st, 2019, there's no automatic sign up for your clients to sign up to Making Tax Digital for VAT filing. So you'll need to send your clients the link for them to sign up themselves, or you would sign up the client for them. Now, granted, once you've done all of that, you'll be able to log into BTCHub. It will talk to the agent services account. And because you're logging into your agent services account, the software is automatically picking up the correct period, so the open obligation. Now, this being a demo version of the software, I've only got 2 obligations here, but you would have 4 to represent 4 quarters. And the software will also cater for monthly VAT returns as well. Now, the same way that we can't manually key the figures directly into these 9 boxes, we cannot manually amend them. So to change them, all we would do is go back to the original source, whether that's the spreadsheet or the CSV file or the bookkeeping package, amend the figures, and then re-import over the top of them. Now, in terms of submitting, if you submitted a VAT return already, nothing's changed in terms of MTD, in terms of the way that we correct VAT returns. So you can change it on the next VAT return if you subtract or add to the next VAT return if there's any late payments, for example, or you can submit a paper VAT return to MTD. Now, also on the right-hand side, you're going to have liabilities and payments showing from the prior period. But remember, we're signing in using our agent services account. So these are only going to show after you've started submitting Making Tax Digital VAT returns. It's a separate account to your government gateway ID and password. So it's not going to pick up those old VAT returns that have been filed using the old method. Now, finally, what we're going to take a look at now is if you or your client is using a bookkeeping package that isn't going to be compliant with MTD. And it's not just bookkeeping, it might be an ERP solution, it might be a finance solution, it could be anything that you like. As long as you can build up that VAT return detail in that system, obviously that's going to be digitally compliant with it and Making Tax Digital. And after April 2020, that's also compliant. But how do you bridge the gap between that software that you've got and obviously filing Making Tax Digital VAT returns? Well, what you would do is you would save the VAT return detail within your software as a CSV file. Now, once you save the VAT return details as a CSV file, you can choose the import option. You can select CSV or any of the bookkeeping packages from the drop-down. Browse for that CSV file that you've saved. Select the CSV. You can see I've saved it here as a Microsoft Excel comma separated values file, so my CSV file. Open it up. If the data is valid, it will appear so in green up at the top, as you can see there. And what we'll see now is the figures that are found within that CSV file, which a CSV file does count as obviously a digital link from the 2 softwares. It will overwrite the information that's found within my spreadsheet import to the information that's found within that CSV. So if I select OK, you'll see the figures change. And that's how I'm going to import. Now, if you're worried about a CSV file that you think is not going to be compliant with our software, you're more than welcome to send in an example of your CSV file and we can test it for you free of charge. Now, if you're using a really old bookkeeping package or finance solution that can't produce a CSV file, you'd be able to export the VAT return detail out into a spreadsheet and use the spreadsheet add-in as I've shown you in the first example, and you define where those cells are within your export from the bookkeeping package or finance solution. Now, once you've populated the 9 boxes, you can always save it and you can always come back to it at a later date. So you can see a nice view here of the VAT return detail. And if I select edit and I'm ready to submit, I can choose the submit option. Confirm that I've read the above declaration and have the authority to submit the VAT return. And the red obligation that we're seeing there, if we submit successfully to HMRC, will turn to green and our status will change from open to fulfilled. So if I select OK, you can see there I've successfully submitted that VAT return to HMRC. I can view the submission receipt, which will show me my receipt ID, correlation ID, and the exact date and time to the second that was submitted to HMRC. Now, we understand that HMRC aren't going to be sending you a confirmation email once you've submitted Making Tax Digital for VAT returns. So the submission receipt will be found within our software or within the agent services account. Now, again, this being a demo version, I don't have the option to save as a PDF, but on our live version, you can save this submission receipt as a PDF to send to your client. Okay, so that's going to draw a close to the demonstration of BTCHub. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to tab back out into the presentation. I'm going to move on to the future of BTCHub. So this is really exciting for those of you who are currently BTCSoftware customers. BTCHub is going to be our development platform of the future. So what we're looking to do is move our practice management and CRM functionality inside BTCHub. So eventually what we'll be looking at is a full web browser based cloud accounting suite product. So a practice suite. We're also going to be adding to add Making Tax Digital for Business and obviously the self-assessment submissions. We'll be building in new modules, brand new modules such as time and fees, which we currently don't have within our core product offering, which we'll be releasing this year. And we're constantly reacting to HMRC initiatives and also to our customers. So we listen to our customer suggestions, and we've got our suggestions email there, suggestions at BTC Software, so that we can improve the product for the end user and also improve the product in the best way that we can and listen to your feedback on our software. So if we take a quick look at the pricing now for BTCHub, it's going to be £250 plus VAT per annum, and that's going to cover you for 250 VAT returns. So it's not 250 clients, but 250 VAT returns, which if all of your clients submit quarterly VAT returns, or you submit quarterly VAT returns for all your clients rather, it's going to work out to about 62 clients altogether. And you can always purchase additional returns at 125 returns for £125 plus VAT. And you can also add additional users as well. Now you've also got the Software as a Service Cloud Solution, the Excel and bookkeeping functionality, 5 users as standard. Telephone and email support are also included in the subscription. Enhanced functionality throughout. Any changes that are made in legislation or any features that we add will be included within your subscription of BTCHub. There'll be no add-ons. The only kind of add-on that we'll be looking at is Making Tax Digital for Business for the self-assessment, but added functionality will be included within BTCHub. And we've got our secure Amazon server database. So all of your data is backed up securely in the cloud and is held within those 2 UK-based Amazon data centers. And at the bottom there, we've got a client centralized database. Now it's going to be key for those of you, both practitioners and companies. We also have a company centralized database as well. If you may be a group with 10 companies, you can have 10 companies listed under BTCHub and keep everything under the one roof. And as we know, with the agent services account not offering a client list, a client centralized database is going to be key for you to stay on top of which clients are going to be those MTD clients. We're also going to take a look at the pricing per annum for Making Tax Digital for VAT. Now, also what we have is if you've got any clients that currently submit their own VAT returns, we do have a scaled down version for a sole trader or a small limited company looking at a solution to file their own VAT returns that you can pass on to them. Now that's going to be £50 plus VAT per annum, and it's only going to cover one VAT registration number. So if you have a business, a client of yours that has more than one VAT registration number, it's going to be BTCHub, but the real small ones are going to go for MTDF VAT. Now again, it's the Software as a Service Cloud Solution. It has the same functionality in terms of bringing the data over. It's only going to be one user, and it only offers email support. If you need multiple users and you're looking for telephone support as well, again, BTCHub is going to be the option for you. And also at the bottom there, enhanced functionality throughout, and as well, secure database. So that's going to draw a conclusion to the webinar. Thank you once again, everyone, for your attendance. You're more than welcome to contact our friendly sales team using the number and email below.